Heyo. Thought I was sitting at my desk today going through some of my old files and stuff, and I found this essay that I wrote back in October of 2010, and I thought I'd read it to you guys and see what you thought. It's about once you attain a higher level of thinking, it's about what we become or what we have become, right, without it. You know what I'm saying? Just regular, mundane thought, everyday people, the average Joe out there in the world. So, anyway, without further ado, I thought I'd read it to you. Here we go. What we become, October 8th, 2010. How do we use all of this newfound power and strength? Well, that is the burning question of the ages, my friends. Back in the time of the Sumerians, the Greeks, and the Celts, all throughout human history, people that had been initiated into the greater mysteries had all the knowledge of life and death, the turning of the wheel, of the year, alchemy, and mathematics. They had everything that we had now with our technology. Right? The mundanes, the regular people, only knew about the simple things in life: pottery, cooking, making clothes, farming the land, animal husbandry. Right? So the shaman or the blacksmith had just as much influence in the daily workings of life as the great master up in the king's keep. The most likely scenario would have been that they were the adepts of the mysteries themselves. Now in modern times, we know way more than the average bear by the time we are 10 or even 12 years old. So taking into account all that is known and all that science has discovered, normal people have the intellect capable of building space shuttles and computers that work at the speed of light. We're coming up on, those computers that think, millions and billions and trillions of calculations in a second. Right? So what's the cost of all of this? Well, how about understanding, acceptance, love? These are the things that have been traded for technology. No longer do we trust on someone's word, or do we reach out to our fellow man or woman unless we get a background check first? Right? The mundane world is riddled with crime and drugs and anxiety, guilt and hate. All the things that keep us looking over our shoulder or buying guns at record pace. Everything changes every day. The young ones want more. The old ones want to go back. Everyone in between is just trying to keep up. This is what we have become, and it won't get any better. Only worse, as money becomes the master of time. In the past, living in tune with all kept us moving at a constant rate. Everything was controlled by the keeper of life, time itself. The young were taught by the old. Clan or folk revolved around itself for the common good of all. Everything working with the combined effort of all. Now let's flash forward 60,000 years. Now machines and computers do most of the heavy lifting. The more intellectual work and the designing of infrastructure is done by an elite class of progressive thinkers who plan out how we live, where we play, and with what toys. The system feeds out the daily lives of the profane masses. The upbringing of our children is governed by moral thinking, but led by the ever-changing values of society, which is governed by corporate thinking. Where is the harmony? Where is the peace? In the all of life, where our true self exists in the light of everything that has ever been. How do you use all of this stuff? All this powerful, new, forward thinking and higher thinking? Well, now at this point, a Mysterian, this is my word, I invented this word. You can either go up or down. To go up or to go down is to fail hopelessly into human drama. To go up is to ascend in the force of life, where the all is real and unconcerned with growth. Right? The ever-expanding rate of the universe is this sense. In the ever-expanding rate of the universe, this sense is heightened by knowing that as long as you act in a positive way, all the grace of God flows through you. The Sufis revealed in I am that. All that is and all that was guides your hand into the great beyond. The mindset is automatic because you're connected. The thinking patterns are very different. The very cells of your body go through a change. At this level, the control is multiplied 1,000 times. Your mind works clearly, consciously. Order follows form. What you do is what you are. Now with all of the new superpowers, seeing, hearing, perceptions, athletic ability, and drawing from the energy around you, the focus allows a person to work creating art or writing a great novel, building machines that make things, or just a simple blog to express all in its own terms. This is what you do with it. How to explain something that is unexplainable? That is the task here. I am empathic for the most part, so I feel instead of think. I move through the mundane world, bouncing off each of the people that I come into contact with. Their emotions raging all around them. It is very easy to lose track of myself and all the meaningless thoughts and jumbled up emotions of said mundane life. Spiritually, I am light years ahead of most because I know God. I am part of all, and all is part of me. This gives me very clear insight into how life goes and what makes things happen. At a certain point, all the learning and reading that I've done over my lifetime has become a moot point. For this reason, life has its own way. It does its own thing. It has its own way of showing us when we're right or wrong. Everything that I do from a higher place of my mind. Thinking is secondary to being. To be is the goal. Because everything else is not real if you spend any amount of time thinking it up. Example, my friend Betty thinks she is a vampire. So she spends her time on the internet looking for pagan sites that teach spell work on how to become a vampire, without realizing that she's pushing away her husband Paul because he thinks she is stupid for believing she can become a vampire without first being bitten by one. Get my point? Who is real and what matters here? Nothing is real and it doesn't really matter, because neither of them know that they are living in a fantasy world. They really think like this. Most people do. Everything they do is for the thrill of their meaningless lives. She is forever telling him what is right and how to do this or that, when she doesn't even know if she's right or wrong herself. Him and I got into a discussion the other day about fixing her bike. Before you know it, there she is telling both of us that nothing is wrong with her bike and that she can do it herself. Okay, I said, and off I went. About 2 hours later, my phone is melting under all of her anger because I let Paul mess up her bike. What, I asked, is the problem? Since neither Paul nor I did anything to her bike, all she kept saying was that if I had kept out of it, she wouldn't be having all these problems with her bike. Okay, I says, and all the steam drifted away from her sails. I took away her reality by not buying into the drama that she was building in her mind. Simple as that. People cannot live without having some kind of drama swirling around themselves all the time. The eye of the storm. Mysterians live in the all, and none of the mundane truth affects us. Because, as I have said before, there are no versions to the truth. When you are involved in the flow of all, everything becomes more real in a certain sense. The light from the lamp over my head radiates energy that I can feel and see. This in turn makes it easy for me to type this page. If I take for granted that the light is always going to be there but don't pay the light bill, thinking does not make things real. Doing is the reality of self-awareness. Being is the highest level of truth. Nothing can compare with being in the grace of God more than the truth of all. Now, this plays into the whole stillness thing that a lot of the ancients tried to write down and leave for us people, us descendants of the truth. If you choose to live anywhere outside of the truth, then you're really not living a true life. You're living something that you create in that future world that you constantly are thinking about. You don't know what's going to happen. I've said this before. The future is always in motion. We don't know what's going to happen. And you can't go back because you can't change the past. You can't change what happened 5 minutes ago. Be aware. Be conscious of what it is that you do. Be respectful of yourself, and in turn other people that recognize that and have respect for themselves will in turn automatically respect you. That's where we've gone wrong. Right? No, our young ones no longer have respect for anything, let alone themselves. Hell, they're posting stupid stuff all over Facebook and MySpace and the internet at large, trying to get people to like them and to click on their stuff and give them views. I'm not doing this to try to get that. I'm doing this because I've reached a point in my life where I feel that it's important for me to try to pass along, right, the life experiences and the knowledge that I've gained in this life so far. I lived a long time. I've lived the life. In the beginning, I lived through Vietnam War. I've lived through the Gulf War. I've lived through the new war on terrorism. Right? When I was born in 1958, the day I was born, I lived under imminent threat of losing my life because the Russians could launch nuclear missiles at any second and obliterate our entire country. Is that threat still there? Some say it comes now from Iran. Well, India has nuclear weapons. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. Germany has them. France has them. Italy has them. China has them. Russia still has some that are so obsolete, they're afraid that they're going to explode sitting in the ground. For all we know, there's nuclear weapons out there in space pointed down at us right now. So is that threat still there? Yes. Is it still real? As real as it ever was. So why waste your time trying to think up things to be or do when now, right here, now is what you really are, and that's all you have. Move forward with that. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm saying. Give us a like if you like what I'm saying. Tell me I need to comb my hair. I'm trying to, but there's a fan right here and it keeps blowing my little Dr. Navarro up in the air. Thank you.